Europa League final, Eintracht shootout win makes for the best day of Trapp's career. An elated Kevin Trapp declared Wednesday the best day of his career, after Eintracht Frankfurt defeated Rangers in the Europa League final. The Eagles had to come from a goal down after Joe Aribo's 57th minute opener, equalizing through Raphael Boer to force extra time before winning 5-4 in the penalty shootout. After winning everything domestically in France over 3 seasons with Paris Saint-Germain, this is Trapp's first silverware with Eintracht Frankfurt over 2 stints at the club, only returning after their DFB Pokal win in 2018. The 31-year-old was named player of the match and could not hide his joy, helping the German club win their first European trophy since 1980. "I don't have any words for that," Trapp said post-match. "I've tried to find them but it's impossible. We can present the trophy tomorrow in Frankfurt after 42 years. This is the best day of my career, truly. I'm so proud of our team." Europa League final, Glasner says there is no next level for Eintracht Frankfurt. Eintracht Frankfurt boss Oliver Glasner believes his side cannot reach a higher level, despite their Europa League final win over Rangers on Wednesday, ensuring Champions League football next season. Glasner was full of praise for his side, who battled from a goal down following Joe Aribo's 57th minute opener for Rangers to equalize via Raphael Boer and force extra time at 1-1, before claiming a 5-4 penalty shootout win. With the Europa League triumph, Eintracht will play in Europe's Premier Cup competition for the first time since 1960, where they eventually lost 7-3 in the final to Real Madrid, despite finishing 11th in the Bundesliga this season. According to Glasner, however, his side's mentality is already that of a top team, and as a result, he did not have to provide much instruction during intervals as the match progressed. "No, there is no next level, it's impossible," Glasner said post-match. "I have to say a bit more about that. This year started difficult, but the players kept believing in themselves, what we told them, what we trained." Europa League final, Van Bronckhorst stands by Ramsey substitution after Rangers shootout loss. Rangers boss Giovanni Van Bronckhorst stood by his decision to bring Kemar Roofe and Aaron Ramsey on as late substitutes following their penalties loss to Eintracht Frankfurt in Wednesday's Europa League final. With scores locked at 1-1 after 90 minutes, Van Bronckhorst brought the two on in the 117th minute with penalties in mind. Ramsey was the only player to not convert his penalty, Kevin Trapp saving with his feet at 3-3, before Raphael Boer followed Roofe's spot kick to secure a 5-4 shootout win for Eintracht. It was the Jares' second Europa League final loss in as many appearances, following 2008's 2-0 loss to Zenit in Manchester. According to Van Bronckhorst, despite evident disappointment in the changing rooms afterwards, his final list of penalty takers was impacted by a combination of factors, including Borna Barizic's inability to take one of the penalties, and pre-match preparation. "It was tough, physically, but the players gave everything and gave all their effort on the pitch," Van Bronckhorst said post-match. "I subbed some players because they were struggling physically, but I cannot complain. They gave everything, and that's all you can ask as a coach." Eintracht Frankfurt end 42 years of European despair. It may not have been the electrifying classic some might have anticipated given the pre-match hysteria, but Eintracht Frankfurt won't care even a little. 42 years after their last success on the European stage, Die Adler are Europa League champions, defeating Rangers on penalties in Seville after a 1-1 draw that saw both teams show a degree of desperation not to lose, rather than to win. It's easy to understand that mentality as well. Eintracht's decades of underachievement may not have crippled them, but there was a sense it was playing on their minds. Yet, ultimately it was they who held their nerve in the crucial penalty shootout, Aaron Ramsey's missed spot kick prolonging Rangers' own European trophy dry spell. In that regard, it didn't really matter which way the contest went, either way, one club was going to enjoy one of the all-time great nights in their history. Valencia report death threats made to President Murthy to police. Valencia have reported death threats made to President Unil Murthy to the police. Murthy, members of his family and employees at the La Liga club have also been targeted by fans. Valencia revealed back in October 2019 that the club had informed police of death threats made to Murthy. With José Bordalás' side 11th in La Liga and losing to Real Betis on penalties in the Copa del Rey final, supporters are alleged to have crossed the line again. A club statement said, Valencia CF, through the club's legal services, are compiling all death threats, insults, and other actions against President Unil Murthy, his relatives and club employees. This Wednesday morning, these actions have been reported to the police, and in the coming days an update of the complaint will be carried out, including reporting demonstrations of hatred and threats of acts of violence carried out on social networks. This type of behavior is not acceptable in society, it does not represent any of the values of Valencia CF and may lead to legal consequences. The club earlier this month called on their supporters to respect Bordalás as they condemned the harassment of the coach and his players. League 2 playoff predictions, ties finally balanced ahead of second legs. Both League 2 playoff semi-finals are finally balanced after Mansfield and Swindon registered 2-1 home victories over Northampton and Port Vale. The Cobblers need to find a response after tasting defeat for the first time in 7 games, and a longer-term malaise must be addressed by Vale, who have lost 4 of their last 5 fixtures. Northampton vs Mansfield predictions. Northampton scored a well-deserved second-half goal in last Saturday's 2-1 loss at Mansfield, and they can continue their revival by winning the second leg at Six Fields. It will be a tall order for the Cobblers to turn the tie around completely and advance without needing extra time or penalties, but they should at the very least ensure a tough night for the Stags, who have been inconsistent on their travels. The hosts experienced an extremely painful end to the season when missing out on automatic promotion on goals scored after rivals Bristol Rovers won 7-0 against Scunthorpe. Eintracht Frankfurt vs Rangers predictions, German side to edge tight final. Eintracht Frankfurt and Rangers will meet in the Europa League final on Wednesday at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium in Seville as both teams look to end their long waits for European glory. Bundesliga outfit Frankfurt have not tasted success on the continent since beating German rivals Borussia Mönchengladbach over 2 legs in the 1980 UEFA Cup final. Meanwhile, Rangers' wait for European success dates back even further to when they beat Dynamo Moscow in the Cup Winners' Cup final of 1972, although they did reach the UEFA Cup final 14 years ago, losing that showpiece to Zenit St. Petersburg in Manchester. Both teams will be taking a large following to Seville, and it is not only a European trophy that will be at stake, as the winner will also secure an automatic place in next season's Champions League group stage. The latest football news in bite-sized chunks. Ben Chilwell has returned to training with his Chelsea teammates. The England wing-back, 25, suffered a serious knee injury when the Blues beat Juventus in the Champions League at Stamford Bridge in November. He had been in fine form before being sidelined, with 4 goals in October, 3 for Chelsea and 1 for the Three Lions, capping a fine start to the season. But having trained with some of his club's youth sides in recent weeks, Chilwell stepped up his rehab yesterday by joining Thomas Tuchel's senior squad. He will not feature against his former club Leicester at the Bridge tomorrow night or Watford on Sunday. And a summer of hard work lies ahead as he battles to return to full fitness in time for the new season. Tuchel eager for Chelsea takeover to go through as quickly as possible. Chelsea head coach Thomas Tuchel has said he is hopeful the takeover of the club will go through as quickly as possible. The Blues agreed to terms for the sale of the club to an ownership group led by Todd Bailey, Clear Lake Capital, Mark Walter and Hans-Jörg Weiss for £4.25 billion earlier in May. The takeover, which promises investment of £1.75 billion into the club, was expected to be completed later this month, but recent reports have suggested Roman Abramovich could scupper the deal by refusing to the sale structure. Speaking at a media conference ahead of Chelsea's game with Leicester, Tuchel simply claimed he wanted things to happen sooner rather than later. He said, "I'm aware of the reports, but I've no new information. I've not been informed about the character of the issues that have arrived. So let's wait. I'm still convinced it's in good hands, not my hands. Hopefully, it will go through as quickly as possible." Tuchel confirms Christensen opted out of FA Cup final for private reasons. Thomas Tuchel has no idea if Andreas Christensen will play for Chelsea again after the defender ruled himself out of the FA Cup final for private reasons. Christensen's contract expires at the end of the month and Barcelona are the favourites to sign him on a free transfer. The Denmark international started in the 3-0 Premier League win at Leeds but was not in the squad for a defeat to Liverpool on penalties on the FA Cup final at Wembley last Saturday. Blues boss Tuchel has now confirmed the centre-back told him he was unavailable on the morning of the game. The German is unsure if Christensen will play in the London club's two remaining Premier League games against Leicester on Thursday and Watford 3 days later as they strive to secure third place. Juventus representative travels to London to buy 3 players. Juventus are looking to strengthen their squad next season to re-emerge in Italian football, especially as players like Dybala and Chiellini have left and Murata is likely to leave the club, leaving the Bianconeri with no choice but to enter. They will not have transfers to the market. Gazzetta dello Sport reports that Juventus sporting director Cherubini has already travelled to London to finalise 3 acquisitions. One of their main options is Chelsea midfielder Jorginho, who is on the verge of signing him. The Italian-Brazilian player has long been a target for Juventus, and given his contract until 2023, Chelsea have no choice but to sell him as they will lose him for free next summer. Another Juventus target is Arsenal defender Gabriel Magalhaes, who is set to buy him as a replacement for Chiellini. Juve have spoken to Brazilian defender Bertolucci and are awaiting Arsenal's opinion. On the other hand, the Turinese are trying to buy Paul Pogba to be definite. The problem is that PSG has offered him an annual salary of €12 million by 2025. The proudest teams in the FA Cup of 6 prestigious European leagues.